Hello guys, welcome to another video of Reinaldo Chess Lesson. For today we are going to do a recap of the second part of the tournament. Remember we have been divided this in three parts. Today it was played the round number 10. I have selected a round from today's journey that was a game played between Hikaru Nakamura and Alireza Firouzja. I know that Hikaru is doing some recaps about his games. Probably all of you have seen this already. But even despite that, I decided to do this because I really think that, well, the viewers enjoy the style and also the game, indeed was very didactical. Nakamura playing with white pieces decided to play a positional variant versus the Knight or Sicilian. So let's start with the game. After e4, c5, remember the Knight or Sicilian is the main repertoire of Alireza. This defense was used in his game versus Nepomniachtchi that Nepo wins as white. For this game, Nakamura decided to play bishop d3. This move, in some cases may be considered as an indirect offer of a draw because in some cases, Black decided to chase the bishop and white can repeat. So bishop c1, bishop d3, knight g4, knight f6. But also, if white don't want to make a draw, there is a sideline that continues with bishop g5. Black do the expansion, white retreat the bishop, and that will be just a different line. But in this position, Alireza decided to do the classical move of the knight, that is e5. Remember, the idea of a6 is prevent knight b5. So now the knight usually goes to b3. Sorry, to leave the f3 square available for the pawn. But in the game, Naka decided to retreat the knight to f3. And this line is quite positional because one of the main ideas that white pursued in this setup is the control of the d5 square with bishop c4. So here, notice that also, well, that is possible because if Black plays bishop d6 to prevent bishop c4, this knight can come here, and that will be very annoying. So Alireza played knight c6, bishop c4, and now bishop d6. Okay, Black don't care about this because the bishop is hanging. And in this position, all is about the control of the d5 square. It's because of that white is not interested in the trade here, because after the capture and the recapture, for example, Black is going to cover this square and white will not have the possibility to create an outpost there. So here normally white retreat the bishop on b3 to keep the tension and preserve the control on d5, but here Naka decided to use a sideline that it was knight d5. This move, in a first glance, seems to be that leave a pawn hanging, but don't forget that there is some coordination here, attacking the queen and doing a fork on c7. So the pawn cannot be captured. Alireza moved the rook to ca, and now white have to be careful. The bishop may be hanging, so capture. And now a complete unexpected move. Black have to recapture with the queen in order to preserve a healthy pawn structure. But here, Black is playing in the style of the Pelican Sicilian. The recapture with the pawn give to Black possibilities to use the G file, maybe to push the pawn to F5, but the game is going to be more difficult. And the computer dislikes the move a little bit, and consider that the move is a little bit dubious, but still playable. So Naka did bishop b3 in order to preserve the control on d5, and now knight e7. So this is a move to support the advance to d5 and hoping to get rid of the backward pawn. So castle, bishop takes, capture towards the center, and finally we have d5 to get rid of the backward pawn. So capture. Black recapture with the queen, looking for simplifications. Here, white decided to keep the tension because the knight here is not well placed. In case of the trade of queens, the knight can come here chasing the bishop. So knight f5, attacking the bishop anyway. Also, another idea, and we have seen this in the previous recap of the first segment of the game, that If the enemy king is in the center, it's always a good idea to preserve the queens on the board. So rook fd1, queen c6, and now c4. Black was pressing along the open file, and with c4, white wants to be sure that the c pawn will not be a backward pawn. The pawn here is defended by another pawn. And here, okay, the second inaccuracy of the game, bishop g7. At this point, black is looking for castle, placing the bishop on g7, but really the future of the bishop there is not too good because it's completely blocked. So considering that black decided to capture on f6 with the pawn, in the opening phase and not with the queen, the g file is open, and probably here black have to play in a more dynamic way. Sometimes it may be possible to play with the rooks disconnected and with the bishop in the background because, sometimes the bishop from the baseline is doing a good job. And this will be a way where both rooks are working well, despite they are not connected. But okay, Alireza decided to go for short castle. Maybe, one of the reasons of this is because in round number 9, that is the next game that we are going to analyze, Alireza beat Rapport because Rapport didn't castle. So maybe those memories, give to him an extra motivation to try to castle and don't suffer, the same destiny like Rapport. But okay, Naka took the outputs on d5, castle, double rooks. I always, highlight the importance of the connection of the rooks, not only in the rank, also in the file. Okay, rook to e8, probably enabling this square for the bishop, h3, and now b5. So with this move, black is doing a sort of minority attack, in putting pressure on c4 and forcing white to take a decision about this. Right now, Nakamura did something considered as a mistake by the engine. He pushed c5. I mean, the move feels very natural. He's creating a passer. Okay, and also the move gives to black the possibility to go run because now the rook may be disconnected from the other rook with a move like knight d4. That will be, an attempt to do interference. But in case of knight d4, white can capture. Let's see the line. In case of knight d4, for example, to leave the rooks disconnected after takes, and something similar with what happened in the game, knight f5, hitting the queen, and the queen is ready to go to g4, creating some direct checkmate threats on the king. So, I guess that c5, this is a typical move that we do thanks to some extra motivation that we can get from a line like knight d4, that may be a possibility to make a mistake for the opponent. One of the downsides of the c5 move is that now the pawns are separate. So normally when the pawns are separate, it's a good idea to prevent the creation of a new pawn chain. It's because of that here the best move for black is a5 to prevent b4. But instead of that, Alireza did bishop f8. Because also that was the idea of rook e8. But now Naka win the tempo needed to reconnect the pawns. Finally, in this moment of the game, Ali decided to go for the exchange. Okay, knight d4. So notice that the move that the engine considers as a mistake, c5, somehow induced Alireza to do this mistake. That was the reason of the defeat because of a direct kingside attack. Knight takes, queen takes, knight f5. So now the white pieces are ready to be transferred to the kingside. Queen e4, preventing queen g4. Sorry, but now the queen can go to h5. It's about time to complete the coordination of the attack on the kings. Rook d8. When we are attacking, we should not trade pieces. So Naka did rook to the corner, attacking the backward pawn. Black defended the pawn. And here, Naka did bishop a6. The idea of the move is remove the unique defender of the kingside castle. Without this defender, there is better possibilities to do the checkmate. So now, king to the corner, for example, a move like this one, after the check, king to g7, rook to a3, white can bring the rook to the attack, And the materialist advantage doesn't matter because white is attacking with three pieces and black have only one defender, the queen. So Ali moved the king to the corner, the same plan still going on. And here, well, the current evaluation of the position is +5. So it doesn't matter too much that the next move is considered as a blunder, by the computer. Ali took the pawn on b4. Really, the plan for white is very clear. Rook g3, remove the defender, and look for the checkmate on g7. So black took, bishop takes, rook takes, queen a6, threatening mate. Black defend the mate, rook leave to remove the defender and do the checkmate on g7. And after capture and the recapture, there is no way for black to stop the checkmate on g7. Black can only delay the mate with queen takes check, but the queen cannot come back to fa. And really, this is a game that Nakamura won because he set a trap with a mistake, pushing the pawn to c5, leaving the pawn overexpanded, but intentionally leaving the rook hanging on d5. And at some point, it worked very well. So, when we look at all those symbols reported by the computer, it's easy to say, okay, yeah, the move is not good, but we may see how the move create some practical difficulties for Alireza, and the positional variant was a quite good decision versus a tactical opponent like Firoza. Okay, well, this was the recap of today's round. For this second segment, I have selected another round that it was the round number 9 played day before yesterday. Remember, yesterday was the rest day for the players, and this is a game also where the protagonist of the game is the same player, Firoza, but this time he playing as white. I have selected this game because I consider that contains a typical topic from all levels, that is the game without castle. In this game, Richard Rapport played without castle. His pieces were uncoordinated. Richard Rapport is an opponent, well known because of his original style, but even for a player, with his experience, it's difficult to play without castle. So let's start with the game. This time we have a Rui Lopez, Berlin defense, and here the anti-Berlin that usually, leads to positions similar with the slow Rui Lopez. So bishop c5, castle, and knight d4. This is a move to try to simplify. In this position, it is normally knight d4 is considered as a positional threat, so it's quite common to see white playing c3. But castle allows knight d4, and after bishop b5 here, knight a3, a very original way to develop the knight in order to try to chase the bishop in this way. Also, the fact that white is looking for this road instead towards the center, there is a reason for it, and is with the bishop aiming to the king side, white may have the possibility to strike in the center, hoping to get more central control and also to open the f5. So black did c6, bishop a4, d6, okay, normal developed move, bishop b3, now queen e7, knight c4, chasing the bishop, and here there is still some background on the database. There is one game played between Sergei Karhakin and Bidit, a grandmaster from India, where Bidit played the normal bishop c7. But I guess that in this set, one of the main ideas for white is play f4, and that idea probably explain, the next move, the next sequence of move played by Rapport. He did bishop g4, okay, because black cannot block with f3, and after queen e1, he did bishop c5. This location is quite unnatural, but I guess that Rapport was hoping to kick the pin on the pawn on f2 to prevent f4. So Alireza decided to stay away with the king, and after a5, finally he did f4. White have been very consistent with his ideas, challenging the center. So a4, bishop c2, b5, queenside expansion, and now another thematic move from Alireza, there is advantage in development because the white king is pretty safe and the black king is in the middle of the board. So he decided to open the center and open the center again because he's not only opening central lines with the piece sacrifice. This piece sacrifice is only temporal because he's going to win the bishop pair. So remember, king in the center and bishop pair. We should open the position with confidence, as he's doing right now. So capture, queen takes, and now in this moment of the game he did bishop d3, what is quite understandable. The computer suggests that this move is dubious, but this is the typical move to take the initiative before the opponent castle and complete the coordination. Also, he doesn't care about the pawn on b2 because the most important is prioritize the fact that the king will be in the middle of the board. Really, a move like bishop d2, looking for bishop c3 is also possible because short castle is not an option because of the pressure and the damage on f6. But okay, he did bishop d3, he takes b2, and now queen f2. Black needs to be careful, with bishop d4, attacking here and here, or also bishop c5. So he did bishop d6, bishop d4, queen b4, and here it was possible to take the knight, okay, but he was not interested in give away the bishop pair, and he decided to play this move that was quite positional, attacking the queen and controlling the diagonal to prevent short castle. So now it's going to be really hard for black to complete the coordination of the pieces. The most crazy of this is that, okay, according to the engine, the position is balanced, but this is extremely difficult to play for black. So queen c3, rook a c1, all the pieces playing, rook da, and now bishop b1. Not the best move, according to the computer. The computer here prefers h3 to control g4 and prevent some possible knight g4, but this move preserves the initiative. So now queen e5, and here queen h4. About the idea of the move, we were talking about some possible knight g4, attacking here, looking for those squares, but with the queen here, there is a creation of this intersection point on e7, preventing the mobilization of the knight, and also f5 potentially may be an output. So in this moment, we are in move 26. Remember, they need to reach move number 40 to win the increment on the clock. And at this point, they were under time pressure, and Rapport decided to play bishop c4, attacking the rook, what is a mistake because now white will be able to take the outputs, removing the blocker from the center, and the position may be open. So here, the best move, and the computer likes black's position according to the computer, is a6. A move that I particularly like is g5, because in this way, the bishop and the queen will not coordinate here, and black may recover the mobility of the knight. But, as typically happens, play with the king in the center, it may be quite challenging. So after bishop c4, also, looking at the move, the bishop may be hanging as well. It can be an attempt of interference. But rook f5, multitasking move, removing the target and defending this. Queen b2, invasion square. And here, a typical move when we are under time pressure. The computer says that the correct move is rook e1, to support the pawn. The rook there is defended by the queen. What Alireza did, rook g1. This is a typical move to keep the pieces together, just to be sure that we will not leave any tactical motive, and quite advisable, when we are under time pressure, as was this case. So rook g1. Now Rapport did bishop e6, attacking the rook. And here Alireza decided to play queen g3. Putting pressure on g7. Okay, the attack here, the rook may be hanging, and also the capture of the rook is not a good idea, because after the recapture, the center will be open, okay, and the king is completely exposed there. So this also explains why the engine before preferred the rook on e1 than on g1, just to leave the rook here, as a decoy. But okay, Rapport didn't fall in the trap. He did 97, chasing the bishop. Bishop d6, important to kick the control to avoid short castle. G7 is defended. Be careful with the backward move. Okay, queen d4. Regrouping. Rook f1. Now h5. Okay, typical thing, when we cannot castle and connect the rooks, we are hoping to push and create some space for the rook, hoping to work with the rook separate. So now e5, opening the diagonal for the lion square bishop and consolidating the location of the other bishop on d6. Also interference, now the pawn is truly hanging. So queen g4 to defend g7, queen e3, h4 to continue with the expansion and the plan, h3 fixing the pawn, queen h5, and here bishop d4, typical middle game endgame plan, putting pressure on the base of the pawn chain. So queen a6, and now here Alireza decided to play queen to f3. What is not in the top 5 engine suggestion, but still good enough to preserve the advantage, and a quite good decision, in from a practical point of view before reach move number 40. We had him move 36. It's very important to highlight the fact that as the king is in the middle and white is probably attacking, we don't want to trade queens. And the queen on f3 is putting pressure on f7 and supporting the bishop to keep the pressure on c6. So now, black is frozen here. f6 is just an attempt to play king f7 and connect the rooks. But after capture, king f7, bishop takes, the position is falling apart. Queen h5. Do you want to trade queens? No, thank you. Your king is very exposed. Now knight takes e5. Yeah, this is move 39. Very close before reach the time control. And what Rapport calculate probably is that in case bishop takes, rook d5 may recover the piece. But Alireza found this nice in between move. Bishop d2, hitting the queen. Black have to move the queen, and now after the capture, the pawn is pinned, and there is no 4 because the bishop is not on d5. So this is a model game in order to show how to play versus a king in the center. We need to open the position. Alireza did it, with move like f4, knight takes e5, later d4, winning the bishop pair, and sacrificing material in order to create new attacking lines towards the enemy king. And even despite the computer at some point say that the position was okay for black, it was just too difficult to coordinate. Okay. Well, guys, with this is the recap of the second segment of the tournament. I hope you enjoyed the analyze. If you have a particular interest in some of the games, let me know in the comments. I hope you enjoy the material, the content, and hope to see you in the theory recap of the final segment of the tournament. So take care and see you soon. Bye.